And welcome back to a brand new video, a brand new day. And looks like someone's just wrote in the sand there, Chris. So it looks like Chris has been in Blackpool today, whether he's on holiday or he's a local from Blackpool. But yeah, come and join me on this video because apparently one of the greediest little pigs in Blackpool possibly might have gone. So come and join me. So we're just near the North Pier, and the North Pier has been getting a lot of work done lately. They've been replacing an awful lot amount of the floorboards, the decking on the North Pier, and some of the seats have sadly seen better days, shall we say. But the majority are getting a bit of fresh paint, and they look quite swished, to be fair. But you can see just in the picture, this skip, and this skip is, it's all been emptied many a time, and like I said, this is probably sort of about 6 months, constantly ongoing. I'd imagine, when they start one end, they get to the other end. At the beginning, he's doing again because it's so near the sea. But yeah, so like I said, we're going to head on, and I'll tell you about this greedy little pig. So we just walked past the North Pier, and I'm going to have a quick look at this building. Just near Robert's Oyster Rooms, and one of the oldest pubs is the Mitre, and it's a very slow one today. That's like I said, a very narrow pub, and that's the Mitre. Let me know if you ever had a bit of a drink in that one, and I'm sure that one will hold some historic stories. Like I said, one of the narrowest in Blackpool, one of the oldest. So just next door to Robert's Rock and Ices and Robert's Oyster Bar, and there's a little building which sadly went, they had to take the whole lot down. And let's have a bit of an update on this one, because you can still see the original floor on this one. Just look at this, the whole lot has now sadly gone. With this actual flooring, you see that the greens and the yellows, or the greens and the beiges. I wonder if that was original, right back from the beginning. It's an interesting one. Like I said, it looks like they've kept a lot of that. But the whole building, like I said, all of it are sadly going to be interesting to see, what actually becomes of this one. So we're just near Blackpool Tower, and this is the bit of a story. It's a bit of a strange one. Not much information on this one, but you can see there's Harry Ramsden's, and that was established in 1928. First opened in Blackpool, July of 2016. But we've got the Greedy Pig, and this took over from the former place KFC, which was located just on the corner, and all this is closed up. So the Greedy Pig, like I mentioned it in Blackpool, took over from KFC, and KFC closed its doors in 2021, and then the Greedy Pig moved in. So this had sort of mixed reviews, to be fair. They've had some good ones, and they've had some not so brilliant ones from people who have tried this food. And like I said, the Greedy Pig is located on the ground floor of the tower's north wing, this one, and it's once housed a huge cafe and a restaurant which actually could seat up to 1,000 people at any given time. So the Greedy Pig, it opened, it hasn't been open that long, so a couple of years, which is a bit of a stranger one. Like I said, it's had a few mixed reviews with this one, and it looks like they've been asked to vacate the building. So this is all since Blackpool Council took over from Merlin. So like I say, it is unconfirmed, but you can see it's completely closed, and there is reports that they have now gone. So the greedy little pig, or the greedy pig in Blackpool, it looks like it's disappeared. The question, I suppose, looms in everybody's mind, you know, once and if this has gone, which it looks like it has. I'll pop the notices, you know, what's been placed all around this building, what's going to become of this one. Very interesting times ahead. But you know, I'd just like to say, if it is true and they have gone, which it looks like they have, all the best to the staff, and I hope, you know, they do find another job, another position within Blackpool. So all the best to them. But yeah, the end of the greedy little pig. So as we venture down Bank Street in Blackpool, this is where all the main attractions are. The Blackpool Tower, the main entrance. We've also got another entrance on the front, and Blackpool Tower Dungeon. So again, that's not been there, you know, that long. People think, you know, it's been there for years and years, ever since Blackpool Tower started. It's not been there that long. But like I said, it's all quite late on, sort of late afternoon, early evening on a Thursday. We sort of just venture through the last bit of the town. We'll pop onto the promenade. We might go and check how the demolition is going on the old Central Club. There's probably not much really happened on Bonny Street courts. It's just more like clearing everything out now until they get that huge machine, which will be tackling Bonny Street police station. So I think we'll branch off here. And the Showtown also, that's won a few awards. So if you never tried it there, they have reduced the prices also. I think it was about sort of £20-25. I think it's about £15 per adult. I think it's about sort of £10 per child. So again, if you never tried that one, the Showtown, go and have a bit of a look. They've got great things in there. Really, you know, it's showing off, you know, the great things what Blackpool does have to offer. So we're going to head back on the promenade, have a bit of a walk. Like I said, we'll pop over to the Central Club very briefly. I'd imagine they've all gone home by now. Like I said, it is about 5 o'clock, and I'll just show you what the progress is with that one. And who remembers this one? The flagship bar, just located basically inside of Coral Island. And I'm not too sure what is going on with this one. It's been closed for many years. And like I said, there's nothing happened with it. It's just sort of stay closed. I've tried to do a bit of research, see what's going on with it. But yeah, it's just sort of gone off the you know, like the face of the planet. It's nothing has gone on, no news, nothing at all. That's an interesting one, that one. So as we just walk towards Central Pier, you can see all the horses and carriages are out, and I bet the horses enjoy a bit of a rest during the week. So I'd imagine the weekends they'll be getting plenty of exercise, and they're all in a fabulous condition. That's what, you know, Blackpool is renowned for: the horses, the donkeys, the towers, the piers, and the most important thing, I think, is the old heritage trams, which I believe they're back in autumn. That will be awesome to see them running once again. And like I said, we're just going past Fernand, but Blackpool is very quiet. It is a Thursday, so I imagine the majority of people will be locals. You have a handful of tourists out, but you always get that sort of low peak just before the summer holidays in Blackpool. Weekends is always busy. You find a lot of people come up for the day trips now, possibly, you know, sort of spend maybe like the weekend here. But I think gone are the days where people spend weeks and weeks here. But you know, the good side of it is, you know, the flip side is that I think Blackpool can handle that, you know, with all the events they do have. You know, you've got the air show coming, the illuminations. That's on 26th of August until I think it's the 5th of January. So it is a slightly earlier this year. Like I said, you know, with all the all the events. You know, I think Blackpool has adapted. You know, or is adapting as well to change. You know, from what Blackpool used to be like. You know, people used to come up here and spend weeks at a time. I think it's more like day trippers and, you know, possibly, you know, overnight or for a couple of nights. But yes, we're just coming up to the Happy Days amusements. We're gonna have a quick peek at the courts, and then we'll nip up very quickly, just have a bit of a look at the old Central Club. But yeah, this is right on the corner, and you can see Central Pier just in the distance, just straight ahead. So we just landed at the court. So I haven't been down here for some time, to be fair, but they've certainly been busy down this section, and the majority is now gone. You can certainly see the base now of the police station. Sorry, I'm just looking around here, but like I said, certainly things have moved, and they've got on with this one. So as we just sort of venture towards the Central Club, this is the Brunswick Club, and so it's got a sort of a long-standing history, this one, and it's sort of tied, shall I say, you know, to the traditional working men's club, and you know, another huge club as we venture down to the Central Club. So I mean, back in the days, you know, these clubs, you know, would have been so popular. You know, they'd be offering all sorts of you know, facilities. You know, I imagine people have hired rooms out, you know, for the parties, the engagement parties, the wedding parties, you know, as well as somewhere, you know, for the guys after work to go and have a bit of a drink and a bit of a natter, a bit of a chinwag. And like I said, it's a shame, you know, how things move on and how times do change. So this is Erdington Road on Central Drive. So we're gonna have a bit of a walk down here, and a lot of these houses, they're not allowed back in. The residents, apparently, speaking to a few locals when was documenting this on day 1 and 2 of the demolition, they've been putting up, or shall I say, they've been put up in temporary accommodation hotels. A lot of them have stayed with, you know, the friends and the families until it's deemed safe. Apparently they've got to wait until the wall is down about half, so it doesn't cause any safety issues for themselves, and, you know, possibly going into the house themselves. So like I said, this is Erdington. We're going to have a very brief walk around and give you a bit of an update on this one. So the old Central Club, and looks like, you know, you can actually sort of walk a little bit closer and you can just see how it's scarred the whole of this one. And like I said, this is probably sort of day 3 in regards to this. And you can see the scorched building along this way. So like I said, day 3, they have been quite busy. The first sort of day, it was actually sort of quite slow with the demolition work. But like I said, we're going to show you the progress they've done on day 3. So you can see we got actually the majority of the wall coming down. Yesterday that was. It's surprising how sort of time flies. We're not going to get too close. You don't know how unstable it is, but you can see they've been very busy ripping all the guts out inside. You can see the old carpet. You just smell it as well when you're walking down here. You can smell the burnt. It's not a nice smell, and this is the huge pile of bricks. When they came crumbling down the other day, you can just see how much rubble has fell. So they like they have they've got quite a bit to do. And you should see the tower just in the distance. So that's going to be very visible once all this is gone. And a bit of a closer look, you can see the shutter doors where they carved it open. You can see the old hose pipe where it's been discarded. So this is just round the side, and this really engulfed with flames around here. Look at that. So like I say, you just see, you know, the alleyway. It's actually not that much. Not much, about 4 meters, I'd imagine, until they go into the house of the gardens, just to the left. So that was the old Central Club in Blackpool. We just had a quick gander around. So we're gonna walk back, heading towards the north side. But yeah, what do you think of that? The old Greedy Pigs, possibly being run out of town. And you know, what's going to replace that? Yeah, have they got any? Look at that one. So you can see the old. Just interrupt there. You can see the old tram lines running. Look at that. Where they used to run. Let's whip the camera around, just to the left, because you can see them there. And this is like the new housing development, and you can just see how the tramways or tram lines used to run all along this way. Look at that. So I think what we'll do, I'll go down a couple of little streets just off the promenade, wait for this car to venture by. Rather than sort of going along the promenade, which a lot of people do, I'll have a walk down Dale Street, right at the beginning of Dale Street. And this one is a huge project. This one just on the left there, an absolute huge project. That's been going for months and months. It has some bad storms, and there's been all sorts of things knocked down from that one. And that is again a huge project right at the start of Dale Street, or the end of Dale Street, whichever you want to look at. And you got the you know, Bairstow Street. You know, they've got sort of plenty of little cafes and little snack bars and all sorts around here. And this is a famous street in Blackpool because obviously it's home to Chris Higgett, the famous £1 burger. But yeah, sometimes it's nice just to have a bit of a gander up and around and Dale Street Mews. I think I went down there once before. We'll have a quick gander again down here, because that leads on to another road. Let's have a bit of a walk down here. Dale Street Mews. And this leads onto the back of the lifeboat. A great little pub. And they had an awful lot of work done to it, regeneration work. And it's in an ideal little place. And it just reminds you of, you know, the blue colour, the lifeboat, you know, blue, the sea. Like I said, this is Dale Street, and again, you turn left, that leads you onto the promenade. But we're not going to do that. We'll branch back on to. In fact, we'll do a left. Let's go a left. We'll go past the Hardwick. I feel like a TikToker today, leaving the camera rolling. But sometimes it's nice just to have a bit of a wander around and, you know, leave the camera free rolling. So again, you know, the one on the right hand side is one of the cheapest places to grab a drink in Blackpool, the Hardwick. And a great atmosphere, always highly recommended by everybody. And you got the Foxes Market just up here also. And in fact, actually, somebody said, can I just take the camera in and have a bit of a nosy? So I'll see if it's busy, and if it's not busy, I'll take the old camera in and I'll show you inside the market. So I was going to have a bit of a venture in, only for sort of briefly, and you can see all the clothes, what you'd expect in a market, and the shoes, all the goodies. So this is what it's inside, like the Foxhall Market. Okay. So you can see all the all the bags, everything you can aim. Like I say, someone's just mentioned, can I just video what it's like inside? So it's you get all your goodies. You can see all your bags. If you grab them extra bits, you can take them. You got suitcases, you got fish rods, you got all sorts. So like I said, this is what it's like inside of the market. So I do hope you enjoyed that bit of a walk around Blackpool and just taking a few more different streets in and a bit of an update on the Central Club fire and the demolition. And like I said, a bit of a walk. Like I said, I'll try to do as much as I can for everybody. People request certain things, so I try to get as much in as possible, and the list just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But until next time, look after yourselves, take care, and it is a bye from me. Bye bye.